Mikey Stadium. We've obviously had a tough week recovering from a really physical game, and that Coastal team is an outstanding team, very talented, and just a very, very good football team. And we gave them what we thought was our very best effort. There's certainly things that we felt like we could have done better, and there's a whole list of things, but some of those have to do with mental errors or fundamental errors, and some of it has to do with just squaring off against a really good player in a one-on-one battle and facing a good team. But they beat us, and they're a good team, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go on and win a whole bunch of football games this year, and I hope we will too. I think we've got a good team. Really like our guys. They're tough, they're physical. They played really hard on Saturday night. Made some errors that we can't afford to make, and certainly can't afford to make against a good football team. But like I said, give credit to Coastal Carolina for the effort they put in and the victory that they earned. Excited to play at home. We've got UTSA, who again is another outstanding football team, Conference USA champion, veteran quarterback, great coach, very explosive and talented in every phase, both offensively and defensively. Taking Houston, who was ranked top 25 to triple overtime, and that in-state rivalry, and I mean just a great football game and a really good football team. So we're gonna put a week together of practice and hope that we'll be able to improve on some of the things that maybe didn't go our way on Saturday night, that areas we can play better, fundamentals we can execute more precisely, and try to cut down the mental errors to zero, because those are just freebies when we make a mistake like that. And that's certainly our job as coaches, to get our guys to be able to execute their assignments and fundamentals. So we'll be working on that, but excited to be back at Mikey Stadium. Our guys enjoy playing at home, and just fun to be here in front of the Corps of Cadets. I really feel like a home football game brings this campus together and this community together, and the Corps of Cadets together in a way that you can't do on the road. So we're looking forward to Saturday. We've got a lot of work to do between now and then, this being our first big practice of the week on Tuesday, as we do take Monday off. So excited to get back out there with the guys this afternoon.
All right. Jeff, Rich DeMarco, Army Sports Network. If you had to distill it, what's the one place you want to see the most improvement quick?
Fundamentals. Just blocking and sustaining blocks, escaping blocks, tackling, which was an area that we were just particularly disappointed in, and little things. Can't drop a pass, can't miss an assignment on a protection, whatever it may be. There's fundamental things as individual players, and our team will continue to get better.
And UTSA, you've seen them a bit the past few years. What do you think of the program that's been built down there, and how much of a challenge do they present?
Each time we've played them, you can see how much better that program is becoming, and just over the last 2 years, the incredible success that they've had, and we played Western Kentucky here last year, and I thought they had a terrific football team. UTSA beat them twice, so really impressive, and they've got a very talented football team. They're big and athletic and fast, and very well prepared and coached. And of course, having played us, the uniqueness of our offense isn't so unique. They've got guys that we played against 2 years ago that have played against this offense. I think there's a maybe 4 or 5 starters on defense that played against us 2 years ago. So it's going to be a challenge, a tremendous challenge. But what they built there in a short time, I remember when they started that program, and I thought, and a lot of coaches thought, that it could be a very successful football program, a great location, the university, the venue that they play in, the state of Texas. So they've proven that it can be a really good place. They've done a great job.
Thanks, Coach.
Connor, go ahead for those on Zoom.
Start with Joe.
Good afternoon, Coach Monken, Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com. First question, you just mentioned, how talented and what a challenge UTSA is going to present. In addition to kind of working on and cleaning up some of the fundamental errors that you saw, anything specifically that you think Army needs to do to make sure you have the advantage when the final whistle blows?
I don't know what else we can do other than try to execute our assignment and fundamentals at a really high level. We're going to have to do that if we're going to have a chance to win. It's difficult to make errors and overcome them against good football teams, talented players. So we got to do those things better. But as I said, a lot of the things that happened Saturday night were because Coastal Carolina is such a good football team, and because they're a very talented football team. Grayson McCall he's as good as a quarterback can be for his offense anywhere in the country. He is an outstanding player, very talented, very accurate thrower, good runner. That's a guy that had shoulder surgery in the offseason and has come back and played in the opening game and played very well. And I'm sure he'll probably get better as the season goes along. So we've got to do our jobs better. I've got to do my job, and the coaches, we all got to try to help our guys perform at their highest level. And we're going to need to do that on Saturday against UTSA if we're going to hope to win, because they just are a really good, talented football team.
Coach, I know one of your maxims kind of for winning football games is obviously to be able to run the ball effectively and stop the run. Coastal, again, probably because of their talent level and some of the things they do, had a very successful night running the ball on Saturday. In addition to cleaning up some of the missed tackles, anything you guys are going to work on this week in practice to improve the run defense going into Saturday?
I'm just getting off of blocks, and that's, if they can't keep you blocked for very long, you got a pretty good chance to stop the run and for that matter, get some pressure on the quarterback. So we've got to do that. We've got to make sure that we fit our gaps just exactly like they're designed to be fit for that defensive call. And the guys up front, and it doesn't matter if it's offense or defense, it starts with the guys up front, and those big guys in the middle, drawing double teams and forcing 2 guys to be responsible for you at least when the play starts, and not allow them to single block us and move us around the line of scrimmage. So those are all things that we're going to have to do better and improve on as we go through this week, and improve on as we continue the season.
And then my final question, Coach, you mentioned what a physical game it was Saturday night. Not asking you to reveal anything specific, but in general, how's the health of the team coming out of that game? Anybody banged up that might not be able to go Saturday as a result of that? Again, you don't have to give specifics, but.
We came out of it pretty good from a physical standpoint. A few guys bruised up and those kinds of things, but that's just playing football at this level. But we've got some guys that are sick. It's like, that season where experiencing some sickness and that kind of thing, and so that jams us up a little bit in practice. But guys being out, but a day or two, those guys will get back healthy again, and hopefully it won't run its course too much through our team. So there's a couple of guys we'll have our eye on between now and game time, but I thought we came out pretty good.
Thanks.
We'll go to Ken McMillan.
Hi, Jeff. Ken from the Record. You mentioned about the mistakes and shortcomings here. Were you frankly surprised to see some of this in the opener?
Surprised to see.
These kind of mental errors or fundamentals?
It's hard to play a perfect game. The missed tackles were a little disappointing. And sometimes we just took very poor angles to make those tackles. And other times they ran through tackles, and we've just got to do a better job with that. I think if we look historically at our team, I don't know about other teams, but our team, we miss more tackles early in the year than we do later in the year. Just get better at it. Because Nate, Woody, and I talked about it. It's difficult to get the live reps tackling in preseason camp unless you just say, okay, it's going to be a scrimmage, and we're going to scrimmage, and we're going to tackle. We're going to tackle every day, and tackle the scouts and tackle each other when we go, good on good, the travel squad guys against the travel squad guys, but we put ourselves at risk for injury, both the tackler and the guy getting tackled. So we got to balance having a healthy team, our starters, the guys that we think are at the top of the depth chart, and having them healthy with being able to tackle. And it's fundamentals we work on every day. Sometimes with live bodies, but not always full speed. Sometimes we're scrimmaging and we're tackling full speed, and other times we use pieces of equipment to try to teach it and teach proper fundamentals. But early in the year, historically, we've had some missed tackles. We just had a lot on Saturday. We had over 20 missed tackles on Saturday night, and that's a lot. So we'll work on it. We'll continue to work on it. But again, I want our guys that are at the top of the depth chart to be healthy for Saturday. I want them to tackle better. So we're going to try to balance that and do the best we can. But very talented players, guys that are they're harder to tackle. And I thought that Coastal Carolina had a very talented football team, good running backs. Like I said, McCall, I think, is an outstanding thrower and runner. And so they made it a little tough on us, but hopefully we'll get better.
Mm-hmm. I know that one player's mistake can blow up a play, but how'd you feel like the front seven on defense synced together?
I thought, for most of the game, they did a pretty good job. It wasn't that I felt like our run fits with the guys up front were so poor that we just left these gaping holes. Sometimes they just blocked us and knocked us out of the way. And but that as the season goes along should improve too. We should do a better job playing blocks. We should do a better job of fitting just exactly where we need to be, drawing double teams up front. And we had some misfits, and we had some plays certainly where they blocked us and we didn't get in the gap we were supposed to be, and that's got to improve. That one guy, as you said, it can spoil a play, and that's offense, defense, or special teams. And it's those critical errors. They're all critical, because any one error could cost you big time. Sometimes one guy makes a play and he makes up for a guy that maybe had a missed assignment or played the wrong gap or didn't cover a guy, and they just don't happen to throw it to the open guy, whatever it may be. The ones that become critical are those that cost us, that are big plays for the other team, whether it's giving up a tackle for loss or a sack or giving up a big run or a pass. It's those mistakes that really hurt us, and they stand out. And so we've got to try to minimize those mistakes, not knowing which one of those times the other team's really going to make a play based on our error. So it just overall, just trying to coach our guys more effectively, get them to play their assignments as close to perfect as possible and play great fundamentally. But I think if you called any coach in the country this afternoon, they would probably tell you the same thing. They want their guys to play better mentally and not miss any assignments, and to play better fundamentally as tacklers and blockers and ball carriers and all those things that I do too. But they stand out when we lose, and we can see those mistakes and where they cost us. They stand out. Those are mistakes that I'd like to learn with a victory. You can make those same errors and sometimes still find a way to win. It's unfortunate we didn't, but it's a hard lesson learned.
Jeff, it seemed, can you give us a quick analysis of Tyre and Cade and how they did? And am I wrong? Did it seem hard for Cade to kind of get rolling? Or maybe he was just unfortunate on his snaps that, the line collapsed on him?
Man, I don't know. I thought he did a pretty good job. I mean, we needed a quick score in the game when they went up 31-21. He went in the second play and hit a long touchdown pass, and he had a guy barreling down from the backside on him, and he was poised and stayed in there. And that guy's a really good quarterback. I thought he did a good job. We had intended to play him more. The way the game went, just kind of, we had 47 plays on offense. That's not very common for us. We typically have more plays and hold the ball longer and keep it away from the other team. But we had three touchdown drives that were pretty quick scores. So we scored and then obviously kicked it off, and they did a pretty good job of sustaining some drives and really playing a ball control offense. And that's what they do. And that's how they've been successful. So the teams, though they present maybe differently in terms of what they do out of the shotgun and what we do under center, very much built the same and similar in philosophy, and they had more long sustained drives than we did. But we just needed to get that stop after we cut it to 31-28 and maybe then put together one of our drives and go score to win the game, or kick a field goal and make it a game. But we didn't get them stopped, and then we did get the ball back. We couldn't put anything together, couldn't put a drive together, and gave up a sack. And it's, again, played a good team. They're good players, and they beat us. And that's there's reasons we lost, not excuses, just reasons. They were better on Saturday night and did a better job of beating blocks and blocking us than we did to them. And that's how you win football games.
Sure. Jeff, just one more. Obviously, you're trying to score or do the best you can on every play here. Just tell me about the message that's sent with those big throws and completions and touchdowns. Will that help this team get respect for your offense, or kind of loosen things up on opposing defenses?
I don't know. I mean, it's not like we're going to turn into the old BYU teams or Texas Tech teams. We're not going to throw it all the time. Just those plays are a result of, I think, the team, the defense, the team we're playing against. I think their respect for our ability to run the football, and the fact that they've got to make sure that they've got all of their responsibilities covered in the run game, because that's what we do. And as a result, we present the action of the run game, and receivers get open. And so that's what happened on Saturday. It's not that it hasn't happened before. We've had results like that before, but there's a lot of pieces that go into it. Just as in the run game, you got to block everybody and pry some gaps open so that the runner can run the ball. In the passing game, you got to protect the quarterback and get open, and guys can be running wide open, and the quarterback gets pressure, he gets sacked, And that happened on Saturday night. We got pressure on a 3-step drop and flushed Tyler out of the pocket. He was trying to throw the ball away and threw it down the field, unfortunately, thinking he was throwing it out of bounds, and it didn't get all the way out. And they picked it off, and we had in that last drive when Cade was in there and got sacked, we had a receiver running wide open. We just didn't protect him. So there's things we got to do to make those plays go and execute it. It's great to get those big plays. We needed those plays, but as in terms of respect, I mean, I don't know. I think people defend us based on what they think we're best at and how to stop it. And so that's the chess match that's going on. Us trying to be able to run the ball effectively and them trying to stop the run, and us figuring out ways that we can use the passing game to supplement and complement the run game.
Thanks, Jeff.
Okay, Ken Kreitzer, you can wrap us up.
Hey, good afternoon, Coach. Ken Kreitzer, Cam Vets Media. Hey, just starting with the quarterback for UTSA, Frank Harris. Had a big game Saturday, 3 touchdown passes, 337 yards, and he's thrown 45 touchdowns in his career. He's another experienced, aggressive throwing quarterback. What are your thoughts on defending against his play?
Terrific player. And we faced him a couple of years ago. We know what a great player he is. He's got some outstanding receivers that he throws to. And I mean, I think they got an explosive offense. Running backs, really good up front, big, and they knock people around. I mean, like I said, they played Houston, and I think Houston's got the respect of a lot of people in college football, ranked in the top 25 and one of the top teams in their league going into the Big 12, and they went toe to toe with them all the way to the end. So Harris is a really good quarterback, but he's got a lot of good players in the supporting cast around him.
And Coach, you talked about on pass blocking, the 1 missed block, but protection on the 2 long touchdowns, and also Terrell Robinson credited Shane Buckingham, the right tackle, with making the big block that gave him the opportunity. How did you overall feel your offensive line did Saturday?
We had a couple of new starters in the lineup, so it was good to see those guys. Buckingham, actually 3, Buckingham, Dellinger, and Filipowicz, and I thought those guys played really hard. But I thought our whole football team played hard. The effort and tried to play physical and our brand of football. I was pleased with how hard we played. I wasn't pleased completely with our performance all the time. Some of that had to do with the other team, but fundamentally and from an assignment standpoint, there's things we can do better. Those are the things we got to improve. But I was really happy with Shane Buckingham as was Coach Davis and Coach Dede, offensive coordinator and position coach. And I'm very happy with the job that he did. That's a guy that was a high school quarterback that we thought might be a tight end for us and is now starting at offensive tackle. So just the development of that young man through the course of his time here, the prep school and the last couple of years, just developing physically, what Coach Hughes and that staff has done with him in the weight room. And he had some really good blocks. The one that sprung Tyre, he had a big block there, Tyrell Robinson, but he also had some other blocks in the game that I thought were key blocks. And so I hope he'll continue to improve and the rest of those guys too. None of those guys were, we don't look at the game and say, well, that guy was in his first start and he was just kind of wide-eyed and maybe out of his element, nervous, or they all played hard and played confidently, and they played against some good players that were able to do the job against them. But I thought there were times where we did a good job against them as well. There were moments where we were running the ball very effectively, and just other times where we didn't. So it all starts with the guys up front, like I said, and as that group continues to play together and improves, we'll improve as an offense.
And Coach, just on your defense, Coastal ran 53 running plays at you. Leo Lowen had 11 tackles and had some young players, Calvin Crummy there and guys up front. How did you feel? What do you think the defense on the interior linebackers up front and the guys up front need to do to improve for going forward?
As I said, we've got to play blocks better. We got to man double teams with the guys up front, especially those guys that end up in techniques on the offensive line that our defensive players, whether it's in the A gap or B gap, the interior guys that have to draw double teams. If we can get two people to block us, that frees up somebody behind them to be able to read that thing out faster and not have a mouthful of an offensive guard or offensive tackle and having to play that block. So, commanded double teams up front, or demanding up double teams up front, I should say, beating blocks when we do get somebody on us, whether it's a defensive lineman or a linebacker or a DB, that we're able to play off of that block quickly enough that we can pursue the ball and make the tackle and not be chasing it from behind. Fit the gaps in the run game just as precisely as we can possibly fit them so that everybody's on the same page and we don't leave a gap uncovered because we put somebody in the wrong gap or two guys in the same gap. And then playing the pass responsibilities that come with that too. Those linebackers standing there and they can't just stand there and play run gaps. They've got pass responsibilities as well. And we had a couple of times that we got beat, and the touchdown in the flat and then the touchdown over the middle were both running backs. And so we got to do a better job of making sure we got those responsibilities.